The imposing mansion of Barrington Hale loomed in grave silence, draped with mourning, but resplendent with wealth that had taken decades to accumulate. Within the expansive drawing room, which was furnished with oil paintings and mahogany, chairs were placed tidily for the reading of his will. If you're new, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and don't forget to share it with your family and friends. Also, let us know where you're watching from. The atmosphere was heavy with anticipation and implicit tension. Family members dressed in starched suits murmured behind frozen smiles. Cameras from unobtrusive media organizations recorded the scene from afar, attempting to reconstruct the next installment in the life of one of the most successful black billionaires the nation had ever produced. Seated in the audience was Illy Hale, the youngest of Barrington's 5 children. Unlike his siblings, who were all dressed stylishly and moved with practiced grace, Illy wore a plain blazer and glasses. His own eyes, keen and reflective, swept the room without a sound. He had never been like the others. While they competed for spots in their father's business, Illy dedicated himself to science and philosophy and remained at arm's length from the spotlight of wealth. Most members of the family hardly recognized him. Gossip had gone around for years that Barrington had treated Illy as the odd one out. The attorney, an austere man in his 60s by the name of Mr. Penrose, cleared his throat and read. His voice was soothing yet authoritative, delivering pronouncements from Barrington in legal terminologies. To my daughter, Celeste, I bequeath the Atlanta properties. To my son, Damien, the tech shares and Hale Global Holdings. The room nodded and stole glances sideways, everyone computing wins and losses. And then there was Illy's name. To my son Illy, I leave. The sentence stopped. Mr. Penrose's face was confused, turning pages. A whisper went around the room. Illy rose slowly to his feet. "Excuse me," he said, his tone steady but infused with a seldom seen firmness. All eyes turned to him. "Before this goes any further, there is something significant I need to say. Something my father personally revealed to me before he passed away." The mood changed. Whispers spread like fire. Celeste raised an eyebrow. Damien scowled. Mr. Penrose changed his glasses, obviously taken aback. Illy didn't blink. "I know this is not expected," he began, taking a deep breath, "but what I'm going to say doesn't only impact this will. It impacts everything we believed we knew about my dad." And with that, the room lapsed into shocked silence, holding its breath for a reality that would alter the legacy of Barrington Hale once and for all. Everyone's eyes were on Illy, standing in the middle of the room. The stillness was so profound that it was heavy, as if palpable. His older brothers shared disdainful glances, not knowing if they should laugh, interrupt, or just wait to hear what their quiet, quirky brother had to say next. No one had ever heard Illy stand up for himself like this. For most of his life, he'd been in the background, observing, thinking, and hardly speaking unless absolutely necessary. Illy scanned the room, his eyes unwavering. "Before he died, Dad told me to find somebody special from his past. He said there was something he never had a chance to pay back, something that bothered him more than any failed business or lost friendship. He asked me to do the right thing." There was a wave of perplexity that passed through the room. Damien leaned forward. "What are you talking about, Illy? This is Dad's will, not some make-believe fairy tale." Illy did not react to the interruption. He plunged his hand into his blazer and brought out a creased letter. The edges were frayed, and the lettering was irrefutably their father's firm, bold, irrevocably Barrington Hale's. He handed it over to Mr. Penrose, who paused before he opened it. It's in his handwriting, the lawyer assured after reading the contents. But this wasn't part of the official documents he filed with the will, because he did not want it to be seen, not until I was able to do what he wanted. Illy answered. He breathed deeply. Dad explained about a man named Mr. Lionel Carter. He said that this man stood by him when no one else would, before the first sale, before the wealth, when Dad was just another poor kid with a dream. Mr. Carter was a janitor who had faith in him, gave him his last money so Dad could submit the patents that set it all in motion. Gasps filled the room. That a janitor had made it possible for a billionaire's legacy to be achieved was unthinkable to some. Celeste laughed. You expect us to believe this. Illy stayed calm. I did not just believe it. I found him. He lives. He is here. And just as it seemed, an old man entered the doorway behind Illy. His entry was inconspicuous, yet the intensity in his eyes told a tale that no one present in that room could remain unaware of. The room stood still as the old man approached. He was lean, his back hunched slightly from years of hard work, his hands roughened, his suit plain but carefully pressed. His eyes, though old, were full of quiet strength. He took in the opulent room with discomfort and a look of disbelief, as if he had stumbled into a room where he did not belong. But Illy gave a gentle nod to him to step forward. Here is Mr. Lionel Carter, Illy explained firmly. The man our father told us altered the direction of his life. Mr. Carter nodded modestly. His tone was gentle but assertive. I don't know if I changed anything really. I just noticed a young man with a fire in his eyes and thought he could do something with himself. He said he had a dream and only needed assistance in filing some legal documents. I had some money set aside, so I gave it to him. That was about 40 years ago. The silence in the room deepened. Even the most skeptical faces began to shift, confusion giving way to something else. Shame, awe, or maybe just reflection. Illy shifted to regard the room. My dad said he never forgot what Mr. Carter had done. He said that he attempted to locate him for years, but as time went by, the trail went cold. He referred to it as his biggest regret being unable to return that kindness. Mr. Penrose stood paralyzed in shock, the letter still clutched in hand. The letter, it's authentic. It clearly states Barrington's plan to keep a section of his wealth unofficially and privately for the man who first had faith in him. Illy nodded. It wasn't in the actual will because Dad wanted it personal, not a legal affair, just a genuine act of appreciation, but he didn't want this kept secret forever. He told me to locate Mr. Carter and see that the truth was known. Tears brimmed in the old man's eyes. I never asked for anything in return. He whispered. I never even thought he remembered me. You gave without expecting. Illy spoke softly. That's what made it so powerful. And that's why this room, this legacy, all of this, none of it would exist because of your act of kindness. The truth fell into the room like a wave, washing away years of assumptions. For the first time that day, the inheritance appeared to mean something much deeper. Mr. Penrose coughed, still absorbing. There's a clause, informal, yes, but it outlines a trust fund to be dispersed, should this man ever be found, a substantial amount, traceless through the official system, but confirmed through Mr. Hale's own handwritten records and personal safe. It's all here. Mr. Penrose went over to his briefcase and pulled out an envelope sealed with Barrington Hale's initials. This is it. He told Mr. Carter, handing it to him, he left this for you. We were instructed to bring it to you if anyone ever came forward with the truth Illy just shared. The old man paused, then carefully opened the envelope. Inside was a check and a piece of paper with handwriting on it. His eyes scanned the page, then well up in tears. This is more than I ever made in all my life. And this handwriting, this is him. He remembered everything. Uli grinned. He didn't just remember. He told me that without you, his path may have ended before it started. He wanted to return what he said was never his alone to keep. Celeste shifted restlessly. Damien glared away, his eyes suddenly thoughtful. The whole mood had shifted. What had started as a battle for cash now was a lesson in human nature. Mr. Carter leaned in and spoke softly. I never wanted credit. I just wanted him to succeed. Uli nodded. And you did make that happen. Now your tale will be told as part of his legacy. In that instant, something unseen went between them, a connection not of blood, but of respect, humility, and the subtle strength of a single, selfless deed. The room that had been filled with greed and ambition now lay still with contemplation. The visit of Mr. Carter, the unassuming janitor who unwittingly kindled the very first spark of Barrington Hale's empire, had left a deep mark on all of them. Uli stood by his side, no longer the quiet son in the shadows, but now the voice of his father's neglected gratitude, and the protector of his rightful legacy. Uli turned to speak to everyone. My father created this empire through vision and toil, but also because someone decided to have faith in him when no one else would. Mr. Carter did not demand anything in return. Such kindness, unadulterated, uncomplicated, and selfless, is not common, and it is something we ought to celebrate today, not inheritance or titles. He scanned the room, locking eyes with each individual. Dad explained to me in his last days that money was never the pay. Fit was the job, and if we save it, if we keep it only for ourselves, then we're doing the very opposite of what Mr. Carter did for him. A single tear fell down Mr. Carter's face. He brushed it away quickly, still speechless with awe. Uli went on. Today, I'm not only here to fulfill his commitment. I'm doing one more thing. I have decided to give most of my inheritance away in a scholarship fund for disadvantaged youth, particularly kids like my father used to be, kids like I think Mr. Carter used to be too, kids with aspirations but without means. Gasps and whispers filled the room once more, this time not of shock but of amazement. Even the toughest of hearts started to melt as they saw a son of a billionaire give away wealth so others could rise higher. I want them to know that someone believes in them, Uli explained, just the way Mr. Carter believed in my father. That's the type of legacy one can leave behind. The relatives, now distracted from what they had to gain, sat quietly with serious faces. Celeste dropped her gaze. Damien gave a curt nod of respect. As Uli escorted Mr. Carter to his seat, the old man leaned in and whispered, "Your father would be proud." "I know," Uli said quietly. "Not because I'm wealthy, because I remembered what counts." And in that, the reading of the will was done in unity, not in division, in humility, not in pride, and with a renewed awareness of what the greatest legacy is. The kindest actions passed along.